there she is. There's the land. We bought 101 acres, and this 101 acres is very private. The road only just barely clips one corner of the land. So this is our only in and out point. And as you can see back there, maybe you can see there's a gate back there. Got some work to do. So I've got a lot of small cutting and stuff planned for today. But before I cut anything, I want to make what I think will be one of the most important videos for a long time, and that is a walkthrough of the property without any work done, showing it at its raw state in probably its worst condition. So there's a gradual slope on the property from east to west, so there's plenty of drainage. Here comes the wind. I don't know if the microphone's gonna get crazy. So there's plenty of drainage, but there's also plenty of areas where, a lot of areas where water is standing. So we've got a lot of work to do to get the water out of here, but we have elevation on our side so that with just a little bit of work, should be no problem to get rid of any of the standing water areas. So this is worst case scenario. We've had a lot of rain lately. It's not going to hold any more water than what's being held right now. So let's go for a walk. All right, we do have a an old gate of some kind, but it's kind of buried. We've got to get all this cleared out. Path initially comes over here. Now, I've got to balance and tippy toe for financial reasons how much I hire out for clearing and how much I do myself. So up front, definitely we're going to try and lean towards, sweat equity, doing as much as we possibly can without killing ourselves here, just to stretch the finances a little bit. But I do know for sure that I am going to hire out having a driveway put in and clearing 2-3 acres, something like that, for a shop area. After that, we're going to have to reassess and go from there. But today, after I recorded this video, I want to make this video before I cut anything, absolutely anything. I'm going to come back through here and cut out a lot of this overgrowth around the trail, just so I can get the trail navigatable with my side-by-side and a tractor. Now you can get all the way through here with the side-by-side, but not the way I treat my equipment. I've never been someone to take a four-wheeler or a side-by-side through mud. I don't know, I don't like getting muddy. It's not fun to me. It's a lot of extra wear and tear on components of a four-wheeler or a side-by-side. So, oh, that was quick. Got something in my boot already. So I'm not one to just go through mud. And if I want to take a side-by-side through here as it is right now, you have to go through mud. Don't want to do that. So I got to widen the trail so I can drive around everything. Now, there is a lot of standing water on the property, but we do have a elevation slope in our favor. So all we have to do is direct the water where we want it to go. And a lot of overgrowth. See, like this, all this needs to come down today so you can actually get through here without bending limbs and bending over. So this has been used as recreation for the community for who knows how long, obviously. It's all rutted up, especially the further you go back in here. And my apologies on holding this camera steady. Future Jay watching this. And everyone else who's watching this in present time. Yeah, here we go. This is the first mud hole area. So as we go about halfway through, up until the fork in the road, basically everything to the right is a pine forest area. Everything to the left is predominantly hardwoods. This is just under 2 feet right in the middle, so 2 feet deep. I do not want to take my equipment through that. So I'll probably come in and try to lean on the pine side as much as possible, cutting in and clearing as much. We've got obviously overgrowth everywhere, so it's going to take some work, but we'll get it done. Ugh. Now there's mixed pines on both sides, mixed hardwoods on both sides, but mainly what we're going to see is a lot of this just overgrown small stuff with huge trees in the middle. I gotta back up to get around this. Also, as I'm walking through all this, some of you might have already thought correctly that, hey buddy, watch out for poison ivy, huh? Well, yeah, there's poison ivy all through this property. Fortunate for me, like I believe that's poison ivy right there. Fortunate for me, this stuff doesn't bother me. I don't really want to play with it. I don't know why I just touched that. There's some more, I think. Oh, getting through here. Fortunate for me, it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really bother my family either, so that's good. My dad, on the other hand, my dad looks at poison ivy the wrong way, and he breaks out. My dad's highly allergic to it. Here's a marker, I guess you could say. I'm gonna pull my phone out and take some screenshots of my GPS location so I can kind of build a path. But this is one of the very few trash locations on the property. There's not much trash at all on the property. There's this 55-gallon barrel. It's an old burn barrel, so it's half full of crap. Oh, looks like it's been emptied of some sort or some way. Trying to do two things at once. So there's not too much trash in here, but there's a little bit. Way less than what I thought for you know, basically a vacant property. So that's really good. All right, I had to pause for a second. I'm trying to use GPS on my phone to screenshot certain locations so I can build a more accurate trail map. More pretty hard rutted areas. A lot of growth down the trail too. The sun is poking through. There's not much of a canopy opening. Like, this is the biggest canopy opening throughout. Very small, narrow window for me to get my drone up in the air, and I was trying to do that today, but had a dum-dum moment and grabbed the wrong SD card, one that's too big for the drone to record on. So we proceed. Now, as I'm walking, I'm headed due west-ish, and the south side over here, we haven't ventured much into there, but there's a lot of really large oaks scattered throughout. Our plan is to not harvest any hardwoods unless necessary, and stick to the pine side for clearing. Like, if we want space, for whatever, building and whatnot, go into the pine area and clear out that first. But also get some type of bandsaw mill so I can start harvesting my own timber off of here. The whole concept of cutting the tree, milling the tree into into lumber, drying it, and then using it on your own property to build furniture or to build sections of structures or whatever. That whole romantic idea is just so appealing, and I'm ready for my turn at it. We've got a lot of these areas too where it's just like you can't navigate through that. It's just thick brush and briars. So obviously a bush hog is, or a rotary cutter on the tractor is a necessity, obviously. But like I said, we're gonna not jump the gun financially with everything and kind of space things out as we go. Here's another really deep play area for some people. And then some people apparently had enough of that and started this side trail over here around it that we still have to duck and squeeze around and play in more poison ivy. Oh, here's actually probably the biggest clearing area, canopy clearing anyway, to get the drone up so far. I know some of you are looking at this video footage thinking, what in the world did this idiot get himself into? And to that I say, I know, right? Isn't this so much fun? The potential, all the work. Like, I'm grinning making this video, thinking about it. I love being outside. Prison to me would be a cubicle desk job. That's prison. I had one of those at one time. Prison. Okay, time for me to pause the video and take another screenshot of my GPS because we are at the fork in the road. This goes due north to a neighboring monocrop field, which is the only thing I really hate about this property. And then this continues on. So let me pause, screenshot, pick back up in a second. Screenshot taken. Let's go north. Let's turn right. Heading north. Ouch. Stick in the face. Heading north to the bean field. I'm not a huge fan of monocrop agriculture. I'm not a huge fan of chemicals and poisons. We don't plan on developing any crops on this property, you know, other than like a small potato garden. That's basically it. I just don't like chemicals. I'm a big fan of regenerative agriculture and stuff of that nature. I need to pause for a second to mention this. A mattress of all things. So we've got the 55-gallon drum. We've got this mattress. Those are the two largest pollution / trash on the property. And then there's an occasional beer can here and there and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near as messed up as, or nowhere near as trashed as I would have thought for, you know, long time vacant land bordering a community. So there's that. And then a fallen tree, which we've crossed several times. Now, getting out to the creek, which I'll show you once we get out there, I'm going to enter the creek on the south side, but I ultimately want to clear a path along this north side over here to get to it, because this north side has way better drainage already. So I think it'll be the easiest to establish reliable access. Ow, briar patch. Ouch, ouch. Yeah. Yeah, we've had so much rain, and these low spots are holding water, we're way above levels, normal levels for rain. And all of this is hard enough that I would, you know, if all the sharp and crap was out of the way, I would be comfortable driving my truck on here. So way better drainage on the north edge of the property. This little rutted area is not too deep. And then before we get to the field, the property line stops. I have to find the markers to verify, but we'll just go ahead and walk all the way to the field. So I think it's somewhere right around here is the property line. There's just a little buffer of trees, which I like. And then this opens up to somebody else's, basically, bean field. Of course, they're about to spray a bunch of chemicals to get rid of all this. I think that's bitterweed. Is that what that's called? So this is somebody else's little bean field area. I think this is around 40 acres. And this is the only thing I don't like about the property is this neighbors it. Not the end of the world. But like I said, I just don't like chemicals, and I really don't like them on a large scale like this. I live in a very agriculture-based area, so it's kind of an argument topic, you know. Everyone who uses the chemicals, especially for the profession, justifies their use and says they're not bad and yada yada yada. I view, you know, poison chemicals as death to the ecosystem, and I just don't like them. So we can agree to disagree. That's fine. And there's kind of a little bit higher area here, so we're not going to have any runoff from that either. That does run off into the creek though. But here in Mississippi, there's creeks all over the place, and hard pressed to find any amount of land that doesn't have some type of agriculture like that relatively close to it. So it is what it is. I'm just going to try and do what we can do, the best we can on our property to keep it as natural as we can, other than the fact that humans are going to inhabit it and chop a bunch of stuff. So there are some pretty big trees scattered throughout here, and looking through the viewfinder, this looks way smaller on the camera, or the monitor rather. It looks smaller on the camera than it does in person. Most of these larger pines, I can, if I hug them basically, I can touch my fingertips around the other side of them. There's a little asterisk there, you know, my name's not Shaquille O'Neal, I'm not some real tall dude with a gigantic wingspan. I'm 5'6". So there's that. Somewhere over here is the start of an older trail that was overgrown. I gotta really get in there and kind of look at the lay of the land and see where that original trail was, and we'll work off of that. Man, I'm just so excited. When I was a kid, I grew up in the city. I grew up in Livonia, Michigan, which it's you know, outskirts of Detroit-ish, right? 15-20 minutes to downtown Detroit, all city traffic. So that's what, like 10 miles, something like that. And all things considered, it's not a huge city, you know. It's not like it is in Detroit. It's not like Atlanta or anything like that. But the city of Livonia still has 100,000 people. So that's the city life. And when I was a kid, my dad signed me up for Boy Scouts. And that was a vacation. Boy Scouts, oh man, that's so much fun. We did a freeze out. You go out on a frozen lake and camp in the middle of wintertime. So much fun stuff. I love being outside. And then when I was in my early teens, I moved to Mississippi. And I was like, holy smokes, I'm living Boy Scouts now. This is great. All right, so we're back at the fork in the road. Just came back south on that northbound trail. Now we're gonna meander west and south, I think. So yeah, moved to Mississippi and got a taste of the great outdoors on a daily basis. And coming home from school, my 10th, 11th, 12th grade years in high school, my stepdad had I think it was an 86 Yamaha. It wasn't the big red. It was a 185 three-wheeler. And I got very agile on that thing. I put so many hours on that. I get home from school and ride it basically until the sun went down. Whew, losing my breath, holding this camera, walking through mud, and flapping my gums. So anyway, I finished growing up down here in Mississippi, and tell you what, you know, Mississippi never gets any love on the news or in the mainstream media or whatever. But other than the hot, humid summers, Mississippi is beautiful. Mississippi is such a beautiful place. We don't have any super grand mountains like over in the Smoky Mountains, the foothills of the Appalachians. But we do have some pretty big hills that makes you kind of feel like you're somewhere out of Mississippi. And then we have, of course, all the plains where you can see forever. All right, scatterbrained here. So this is kind of a wide, muddy area where all of this is just ooey gooey. And I think on the north and northwest side of this is where we'll cut in a new trail around here. I don't want to mess with all of the wet stuff at first. You know, some people may be saying, well, just plow through or fill in and clean up the trail that you already have. Well, yes and no. As the elevation starts to change a little bit up here, water flows really well through it. So there are sections where we kind of want to keep the existing trail as the beginning of an internal creek or internal way to get water out, and then just cut new trail around it. That's the easier and most obvious thing to do. Nice sized trees. Some of these pines back here are pretty darn big. It's really weird, like, not really weird, but on my right, again, is the pine side. So this is clearly overgrown, but also clearly seen from the aerial view that this is planted pine. Somebody came through here years and years ago and planted pines in rows. So clearing out this underbrush should really allow us to take shape of, or take view of the trees, the bigger trees. And then you just turn to the left and it looks nothing like the right. This is all hardwoods and just a visually different ecosystem divided by a crappy condition trail. Let's see, what do we got up here? I think right up here to the left is the little pond. And I want to emphasize pond because the listing said lake. And as we were viewing this with our real estate agent, kind of a goofball, he said, you want to know the difference between a pond and a lake? And I was calculating my really, like, going back in my memory. Oh, I read this before. The difference is such and such. And he looked at me like I was stupid. And he said, if it's for sale, it's a lake. If you own it, it's a pond. So here's the pond. And I have no idea on fish, although that's just right there was a big mud scatter. So I think there is fish in there. But it's small enough I could throw a baseball over to the other side. We don't know what to do with this just yet. There's a beer bottle floating in it, so there is obviously trash. I see some movement in the water, so there's got to be some fish in here. But this, initially, my initial thoughts are this is a mosquito trap. This is a mosquito haven, breeding ground. So I'm not sure what we'll do with this. When we were viewing the property, we thought immediately, yeah, let's break this artificial mound, this artificial levee, and let it drain. This is not a naturally occurring little pond here. Somebody put this together, and yeah, I don't really give it a thumbs up right now. All right, so let me turn around, pause for a screenshot. Actually, I don't have to pause for a screenshot because you can actually see that on an aerial view with GPS, so I know where I'm at as far as documenting this video. And the wind is pretty crazy today, so I don't know how this microphone's doing. This whole video could be garbage for all I know, from an audio perspective. But thankfully we're down in the trees, so all I'm really listening to is the canopy flopping around. I don't really feel a breeze down here. This is where it's not showing up on camera, but elevation's starting to drop just a little bit. I'm starting to feel like I'm walking a little bit downhill. So these ruts are draining. So this is where we're not too sure about how to approach this section of the trail. Do we try and make it passable again by cleaning up these ruts, or do we just simply leave at the very minimum one of these ruts as a natural way to drain water, and leaning towards what's already here for drainage, letting it do its thing, and then adding to it as necessary to further the drainage? Because this, where I'm standing right now, it's like 3-4 feet lower than that, and about 3 feet lower than that. So water just naturally wants to drain right here anyway. So probably go around it. Oh, ooey gooey. Probably go around it with some type of trail for motorized vehicles. You can kind of get an idea of the little bit of elevation we went down right there. A couple big hardwoods back to back right over there. I'm zooming in as if you guys can tell what's going on. Like, cameras don't do these trail walks justice. A couple big trees right on the trail. Ouch. Oh, one other thing that I'm doing today is I bought a bunch of posted no trespassing signs. I got to put those up because we bought 101 acres, and I don't recall the size of the land, but there's another timber investment just south of this one that ouch, that connects via this trail system. So I got to mark off in the middle of that trail where the survey line is. Now we go from mainly west, turning south. This is pretty deep too. And I can tell no one's been here the past day or two because the water's undisturbed, nice and clear. This stuff turns muddy fast. Ugh. Man, there's poison ivy everywhere. Oh, poison ivy. Back to my dad. Fun story. Well, not for him anyway. So one of the camping trips my dad took us on as a kid, I was young enough to not understand. Oh, wait a minute. That looks like a probably a deer trail through here. Not really a side-by-side or a four-wheeler trail, but there's some type of wildlife opening through here that I didn't notice last time. And hard to show up probably on camera, but it does cut through here too. So, wildlife crossing. Don't see any tracks immediately. There's a lot of turkey and deer on this property, so we'll be able to harvest some nutrients in that regard. Going camping at a young age, didn't really understand the concept of poison ivy, but my dad goes somewhere to relieve himself in the woods. Doesn't think much about it. Later on that day, he realizes that he had poison ivy on his hands. And you can connect the dots there. It was a miserable experience for him that I didn't quite understand as a kid. And I can't help but chuckle in a kind of a sympathetic way as an adult. All right, so this is the one spot that is so overgrown around it and so soggy that I have to make a trail around, quite a bit around it, because everything near it is soggy. However, I just got a stick in my boot again. Pause for the boot check. Wading through the poison ivy into this side trail. Ground is a little bit less soggy over here. That's good. So I think this trail, this detour from this low spot, is going to detour quite a bit up over here onto some nice solid ground. Ouch. Through the briar patch. Get in here and mulch all this up, knock it all down. Make my way back to the trail. Yeah, all of this in between me and the trail right there, we tried to walk through the other day, and it's just too many briars. Another thing to mention about all this land is I mean, it's 101 acres. It's not a small plot of land, and we have very ambitious plans with it all. But I mean, the timeline is the rest of our life. I'm not introducing all these plans to say we want them done by this summer. We're not even probably going to be this far west for the next year or so. So we've got so much work to do on the east side of the property where our home and shop will be. Shop first, then home. That way we can park the camper in the shop and live comfortably there, right at our location of all of our tools and all of our work and whatnot. Okay, so just a little bit further that way, this trail system leaves the property and goes to the adjacent property. But another fork in the road. So this one is where we've always accessed the creek viewing this property. And this is also the southern border, so it's like I said, way wetter. Holds a lot more water than the north side, so this will be a little bit further down the road for us to access and really start working on to make it have a good reliable drain system through here. Ow, briars. All right. Now we're also starting to leave the pines. So there's a couple here and there. That's a big one right there. But the view changes. This is all just natural growth, and there's a lot of smaller stuff back here. Opens up a little bit. Well, it is opened a little bit. The canopy is, because it is April. What is today's date? April 11th, 12th, something like that. and these hardwoods haven't reached full bloom yet. So yeah, so this whole trail is flooded. All the way as far as I can see that way is flooded. It's not really, it's just holding water. There's elevation drop, but it's just holding water on both sides. So we have the means to drain it. We just got to do a little bit of work to establish those drains. It's not like it's not a situation to where this is just bottom land and is what it is. You just can't make the water go anywhere. Oh man. Mucky muck. Definitely not getting back here anytime soon. This section of land is on the back burner. But it's important because right now it's the easiest way to access the creek. And that's where the magic is. I gotta cross this stuff. It's kind of deep. Fun fact, we just bought 101 acres of wooded property. It has a lot of water features here and there, and my wife is deathly afraid of frogs. I think somebody put one down her shirt when she was a kid. I believe that's how the story goes. And she's gotten better, but frogs make her turn around. We'll say that. On the other side of that coin, my daughter, I gotta be careful with her because if it moves, she wants to pick it up. So snakes, she hasn't tried picking up a snake just yet, but she stalks them. She's incredibly smart for her age. She handles new concepts very quickly, especially ones that she's interested in. Well, she's interested in wildlife, she's interested in nature, and she's interested in machines. And I think she gets all that from hanging out with me. But she understands that, oh, wind, you messing with the microphone? She understands that not all snakes are good, and she understands to keep a distance. So that's, at the very least, very good. All right, so there's a couple really deep washouts here that feed the creek that are very, very, very interesting. The trailhead just dies off right here, and then we're in this like sea of poison ivy and briars. And these bigger old growth hardwoods. These old growth hardwoods kind of blanket the creek, which is right over there. The wind is starting to pick up. Hopefully it's not destroying the microphone. But we do have a clearing right here, which looks like a previous path. It's just full of poison ivy, full of briars. So we need to get a tractor in here with a brush hog rotary cutter to clear all this out. But I obviously can't access it from that trail. So we've got to come in from the north side. That's going to be a job. So it would be great to just jump over to the creek, but there's some obstacles in the way. And I think the best game plan is to come back this way to the extreme southwest corner of the property and work my way up the creek. I've got to get a better idea of identifying some of these plants in here, because so far everything that I've encountered has not given me a reaction, but I know the days are coming. Okay, so this is hard to explain without you actually being here, especially not with a wide angle lens. Elevation of where I'm at is right there on the other side of this little gully, right? This is a big deep washout. So cleaning this out and making all of this around here the recreational camp area. This is a peninsula right here that I'll show you. Wraps around here. Plenty of areas for some fun bridging to go across of various different kinds. Super huge trees. Like there's a big one right there. Super huge trees. So whenever the wind knocks them over or whatever, we'll have some lumber sources, big time lumber sources. That's inevitable because there's trees down all the way around us. So catch them well after they fall, and we'll have some good lumber sources. What am I trying to say here? Oh, the camp areas. So hard to explain, hard to show, but this is another deep gully area, and it goes around this peninsula right here. And the alarm on my phone is going off. So this little peninsula area, and I want to build a bunch of little, essentially permanent tents that have screened in sides, and this will be one fun spot for it because right there is the first spotting of the creek. Let's see, let's keep going. Let's go to the creek. We have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But, you know, it's one of those things I could sit on my phone and play on social media, or I could come out here and create dreams. Choice is mine. There's the creek. We are, it's hard to say, 20, 30 feet above it in elevation. Let's see, we went down, where did we go down the other day? We came up here, my daughter was up on this little lookout ridge. Aha. This is our trail from the other day, so bear with my camera work. Oh, another thing, my wife loves ferns. This property is full of ferns, so yay for me not having to go to Lowe's and buy any more ferns. How did we get down further? So all we need is to clear better access. Now that wasn't bad. I did all of that with a camera in one hand. Look at this creek, guys. So this is facing south-southwest. Somewhere right around here, literally, is the southwest corner of the property. And then if I turn this way, let me go over here, turn this way. Due north is somewhere here, and the property line goes this way. So we own both sides of the creek up there, and the creek goes a little bit north-northeast, splitting through. So it's not a lot of tremendously usable area on that side, but we have plenty enough section that we own both sides of the water. So that's going to be fun. Now, this is about as wild as this creek is going to get, I think, due to the amount of rain we had recently. There's a few rapids here and there, nothing crazy. And I haven't walked it, but having seen this last, the beginning of fall last year, right after one of the worst droughts we've ever had, there was still water flowing through it. I mean, you could not float down it by any means, but there was still water flowing through it, so it didn't go bone dry. So I've seen it at its, what I think is the lowest, and I think this, actually, you know what? Judging by that, I would say that's about as high as it gets here. Now that'd be a crazy amount of rain because we've had a tremendous amount of rain already. So if you're familiar with the North Mississippi area, it's about a 45-minute to an hour drive from where I'm at to Sardis Lake. This drains into Sardis Lake. So if the water's high like it is right now, I could plan a weekend, a bunch of guys getting together, just having a full day float all the way down to Sardis. And let's just say that that's already in the works. Already in the planning stages. I haven't walked it at all, but I think the deepest point right now is probably knee deep. These rapids won't really form on deep areas, and I can see through the rapids at the little rocks here and there, so it's not an insane creek, but this creek is insane, if you know what I'm saying. This is so much fun. Now here's the cool part, right? This, where I'm standing, is kind of a overgrown brushy area, but there's tiers. You have the water level, and then right around that tree is a plateau, which would be a perfect spot for camping. And then there's the ground level up there where the property is. So we have, like I said, plenty of elevation to get the water out here. We just have to make that happen. And then also totally secluded. I'm going to go up there and show you a good plan that I have for a campsite up there. Now the question is, what's the best way to get up there? I think just walking this shoreline probably going to be the easiest. And I'm not paying attention to what's shown on the camera, so sorry for the views. There's a lot of rock bed down here. Tell you what, like, we're about to hit the hot months in our summer here in Mississippi. As soon as we have the shop built and I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off with stuff to do, I'm gonna take a day or two and come down here with my daughter, let her play in the creek when it's not crazy fast, and I can just sit up here in the breeze picking my guitar, living the laid back life, if you know what I'm saying. That is the sound of a nap on a midsummer's afternoon. Midsummer's Eve. Alright, so I've got a natural ladder back up here. I want to get to that little plateau area and look down to the creek. Alright, so here's the plateau. It's way flatter in person than what it shows up on camera. And we have all this second elevation at our back. You imagine putting like a little permanent A-frame, I'm calling it a tent, but a little A-frame structure, open-ended on both sides, screened in, so the bugs aren't going to eat you up. You're sitting in shade, and you just listen to that. Oh man. Oh man, talk about therapy. Just relax and just get away from it all. Maybe grow some cojones and get up on this this little log over here, this tree, and just chillax for a little while. You know what I'm probably gonna put there? A swing. Not a swing to jump off into the water, but just a swing to sit, right? Maybe like a big tire swing or something. Someone needs to bottle that sound. Actually, I think they have. It's called a white noise app. Here's the best little flat area. So right out the front of the A-frame, all this is overgrowth. We just get down and see the creek on both sides. I can see this better with my own eyes than I can through the camera, so much potential right here. And the land goes forever that way, you know. Over there is ours as well. I don't know if we don't have any plans for that, so there's that. You know, I've got all these fun little super duper awesome ideas that come with a lot of like liability that I don't really want. Like a suspended cable bridge from side to side. Well, that just invites strangers on the property to use it because it's something different. So shy away from stuff like that. That's kind of a steep drop off right there. That's a 15-20 foot drop. And then this flat area, plateau, goes quite a ways that way, and we just simply haven't explored that far because of the overgrowth. I need to get some equipment out here and just start cutting and letting it die, so we can get this opened up a little bit. Now there's so much there's so much vegetation, so part of me is going to have to figure out where the line is between me spinning my wheels and me making progress, because eventually I'm going to reach a point where it's going to grow back faster than I can cut, so I'll have to figure out some other solutions. But we have like 10 or 15 acres that this creek runs right through, and this is as far as I've explored. We've got so much more over there that I haven't really explored. There's just so much more potential. So from here, this is where we normally walk back up, and I'll show you why I have to access this from the south as of right now, and I want to access it eventually from the north. Let's climb up this. Here's my steps from the other day. All right. Wrong side. This was easier with a walking stick and without a camera. Wasn't too bad. All right, back into the poison ivy paradise. Now we're in between the creek to my left, and then there's that big washout, the big drainage washout over here. And there's a couple different ones. So basically there's a washout that kind of parallels the creek, and everything in between of it is going to be camping style recreation, right? Now I don't know if this will be something that we potentially monetize by having it set up enough for, you know, you want it to be somewhat decent to be able to charge somebody, right? Or if we, gosh, I just can't get over that water right there. I love that little rapid. Looks pretty clear all the way through as far as I can see. And of course the camera's focusing on the stuff up close, so you can't really see the creek. I don't know if we'll monetize this recreation camping area or if we'll keep it for our own little oasis. We have a very, very active family community, and our family loves getting together and doing things outdoors, recreation-ish. So even if we just set it up for a vacation destination spot for our extended family, hey, I'm cool with that. Give me an excuse to bring my family closer. Such a selfish thing that I would say heck yes to. The older I get, the more I realize that friends are great. Friends are 100% necessary, but the best friends you could possibly have is family. Family is, I'm getting lost here in the briar patch. I know I have a trail through here. Family just brings me so much joy to be around. I love my family. And it also happens that I have a wonderful family to be around. That helps too. On both sides of the family too, you know, my mom's side and my dad's side, as well as all of my wife's family. All right, so here's where that washout is kind of, or that, what do I call this? Gully? Huge, massive ditch. There's several different paths to get it in and out of this. One of these days I want to kind of walk it with an AllTrails app and really map it out. And then it starts up again over there too. There is a big tree crossing it over there. I don't know if it's structurally sound enough to actually use as a bridge. But hey, let's go find out. My daughter's not here to do the dangerous stuff that I don't want her to do just yet. So if I can get over there, might give it a try. Now that looks pretty rotted. I might not give it a try. So many butterflies in here. I don't know if I caught that on camera, but there's butterflies all over the place. There's wildlife all over the place. I've seen so many squirrels around here, obviously. Haven't seen any larger animals in person just yet. Seen a few snakes. All right, little opened area. Yeah, that looks pretty rotted on the inside. Risk reward. I don't think the reward is worth the risk. We do have in these hollow areas down here, these washouts, a couple of different spots that are really, really holding water. They look like black tea with all the leaves. There's one right there, and then there's one right over there. So I don't know how we're going to address that, but I'm definitely going to try and do something, because the less puddles of water, massive standing water, the less mosquitoes we're going to have. Ugh. All the tannins and the leaves, and that's black tea right there. That is black as black can be. And gross. All right. How did we get out of here last time? Let me think about this. I kind of want to stay left to stay near the creek. I don't think I've really gone this direction yet. So let's explore. This is a different world from the east side of the property. The east side of the property is domesticated. This is going to stay feral for the most part. Ah, that's why we didn't go this way. Another briar patch. But we're still tracking along the creek. Yep, creek is down below, so let's see if we can't get in here. This is the first time I've seen one of these gullies, ditches, whatever these are called, little washout, connect up to the creek. And we've gone quite a way up creek, and I hear more rapids. I just love the sound of rapids on a creek, even if they are tiny. Spotted it. Little itty bitty rapids behind where the focus is. All right, so if I can get down into the bottom of that, I should be able to walk right into the creek. The wind is picking up at ground level now. Ah, briar in the boot. Pause. Ouch. Okay. Briar out of the boot. So I need to get down into this gully, but it actually connects back around to the big one over there. These have been getting me all day. All right, what do we got here? Is this a little bit of a easy path down? I do think so. All right, I see water that is not the creek. We're in a good spot, I think. All right. Let's see what we have over here. Oh, that's a big drop off. Yeah, that's not the entrance. Ooh, I mean, it is the entrance, but that's not, this is not an entrance to get to the entrance. Oh man. So here's the deal with the water, right? I do not like the monocrop agriculture north of here. But you know, a lot of this water is originating from underneath this property. So how much of it is contaminated, I don't know. There's a little waterfall right there. Checking that box. Remember when I told you the realtor said if the pond is for sale, it automatically becomes a lake? Well, I get to check the box of a waterfall on the property. You see that right there? I don't care if that's 18 inches, that's a waterfall. Oh man, it keeps getting better. Oh man, I can't, I don't know if I can, I don't know if you guys can understand how excited I am about this. This is just, this is paradise, and they didn't pave it. You know the song, They Paved Paradise and Put Up a Parking Lot? There's no parking lot here, it's just paradise. I'm going down. All right, I'm going in. I gotta get in this stuff. Okay. Holy smokes, my exit is a briar patch. Unless I can walk up this creek. I need a machete. All right. I'm going in. Ugh, I'm trying not to fall forward too. All right, I'm disregarding the camera, so I have no idea what you guys are looking at. Ho, 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 ho. It's not as bad as I thought to get down here. So these little puddles going that way to the creek. Should we start at the creek and work our way back? I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm glad you suggested it. All right. Ah. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, a little dam here, so I can't step on that. How about we try to get to the other side? 1, 2, 3, jump. Okay. Now this is shallow. I can walk this. Oh, and we're at the waterfall. Oh, buddy. I hear banjos. Man, I don't know if some of you guys are outdoorsy type people, but have you ever gotten into this natural water? A creek that comes out of the water, or a creek that comes out, a spring that comes out of the side of a hill, and it just, I mean, it smells so potently fresh, if that's a thing. Oh my gosh, it smells so good right here. It's so good. Kind of sort of smells like the reptile exhibit at a zoo. And I hope that means I didn't just jump into a snake den, but no signs of snakes yet. So this goes out that way. Wow, this is so cool. I think I'm gonna turn the camera off for a little bit and just kind of observe. All right, checking in. I just looked on the at the GPS, and at the waterfall location, I mean, I've only just started going north. There's so much more of the creek to explore, and I also think I'm going to chicken out for today because I realize that I am a good half-hour trek back to civilization, which would really suck after getting bit by a few different types of snakes. So I think it's safe now that I'm alone, to start heading back and finish exploring it another day. After I sit here for another 5 or 10 minutes and just chill. Back at the creek, I couldn't come this far and not see where this little thing came out. So incredibly slick rocks, sand here at the bottom, so I can walk through this sand. Can't see the waterfall from here, but a nice little flat hangout spot on the shore. Flat enough, a few feet into the water, I can confidently get out without the fear of slipping and falling in. So yeah, this is just a rocky bottom creek. Not deep at all. Plenty of fun shoreline. Where was that big tree that was overhanging? Maybe it's 2 trees down right there. Oh, those bigger rapids we started at are way down there. Let's see if we can't zoom in on them to see where I'm at. So those slightly bigger rapids way down there is where I started. And I'll show you where I'm at on the map so that you can see I still have so much more to explore that way. I need to get a few friends out here, so we have the buddy system going on in case something happens. Man, this property is just getting better and better every time I explore more about it. I knew from the very instant we stepped foot on this property, I wanted it. The east side is perfect for living on, the shop and the house, working on. The west side is perfect for playing on, relaxing on. Creek's got a decent speed to it, so I don't want to go any further than these rocks. I'm using these rocks to kind of hold me up. Let's walk through this sand a little bit. I'm not too worried about snakes today because it is a little too cold for that right now. It's in the low 60s and windy. What is that? Is that a little bit of trash right there? Ah, trash. Got some more rapids up there. Man, I don't want to work anymore. I just want to play on the west side of the property for the rest of my life. Kidding, not kidding. All right, part of me wants to go further and then climb up, but I don't know what's up there, so the responsible part of me just wants to go back the way I came in. And I'll do that now. These rocks. These rocks are really slick. And these briars are really pokey. Ouch. One thing that already is in full swing right now is ticks. On this trip, I haven't pulled any off me yet. However, whoa, I'm sliding backwards. However, last trip we did pull a bunch of ticks off us. But Mississippi woods, you're gonna be hard pressed to not get any ticks on you. This is gonna be something fun to monitor too year round. Like, is this primarily runoff from the top of the property, or is this fed by springs? And if it's fed by springs and I don't have a recreational need to keep this visually open and whatnot, this could potentially be used some type of low power situation. Hydropower. of some kind. Ugh. Okay, where did I come down? I came down that, but I could go up that. Oh man, I can't not explore. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. Okay. So this sidewinds through there. This is a natural set of stairs. There I go. First time falling. First time sliding. All right. Need better footholds. There we go. Yay, flat land above. You know, part of me is, oh, buddy, nice little flat plateau with not a lot of clearing work to do. Hello. Hello, little piece of heaven. Back to the creek. Okay, okay. Noted. This is all old growth. Every bit of this is old growth. Not a lot of underbrush. Okay, okay, okay. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I understand. Wow. I know the camera's not doing this justice. Wow. Hole. Another little plateau for camping. Okay. Obviously this is erosion going down into this flat spot, so that's something to consider. I'm going to pause here, take a GPS screenshot, and pick back up. Alright, onward. So again, I'm paralleling another, I'm just going to start calling them a ditch. Another ditch over here. Maybe taller than my head, taller than I am, but it's a ditch. We're going to call it a ditch. Tons of ferns over here. Yeah, this section's not, this doesn't have a lot of small undergrowth, which makes sense, you know, it's separated by a ditch, so whenever this was last cleared, inhabited, whatever, it didn't make sense for them to cross all this, build some infrastructure to cross and to get over here. It just didn't make sense. Now that's a big tree. Holy moly, that's a big tree. Hey there, little fella. Holy smokes, how big are you? See if I can't get my hat to stay on there from a distance. Where are you gonna stay? Maybe I should use some poison ivy to hold my hat up. That's a pretty big tree. Yeah, I don't like a 2x4 or 6. Old trusty hat. A lot of other big trees up here. All right, so this big ditch area, and again, we're holding water again. I'm gonna have to figure out some strategies because it's clearly evident that the land below is rock. So drainage ditches may not be in the cards. And there was a huge animal hole in the bottom of that tree, so I'm going to walk this way. Man, another huge tree. Aha. So it just bottoms out. This one can be extended. Or do we just simply fill in the low spots and then let the water take care of itself, finding the shortest path? Speaking of shortest path, I don't think it's going to be back through that briar patch. I think I need to go down, up, and then to the left. All right. Some of these trees, man. Yeah, I think it's made a good timing on all this to explore this before snakes really got active, because this is going to be snake paradise. Holy smokes, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, big cricket looking thing just pounced. That doesn't look promising. Big briar patch. Let's go this way. Oh, there's always another way. Let's go around here. All right, this is back into the really dense overgrowth, underbrush, whatever that is. The stuff that controlled burns take care of. More standing water. Man, this is going to be that doesn't belong on our property. A feeder. Deer feeder. And a deer stand. Alrighty. Time to meet some neighbors. Interesting. Okay. Alright, no one to be found. It's not time for hunting anyway, however. This stuff will be removed today. By me. Alright. That's new information. What do we have here? Oh, do you see this? I don't know if you can see this. That's the first floor of the treehouse. The treehouse tree. Every property has a treehouse tree. Okie dokie. That settles that. Actually, let me pause over here where this, let me pause right here and get a GPS location real quick so I can come back easily. That looks pretty fresh. Alright, so now I am somewhere near the northwest corner. I'm done with the creek for a little bit. It's not easily accessible anymore. So I'm going to try and keep heading northeast, away from these briars and poison ivy, into the thicker woods to try and find the west end of that bean field, that monocrop agriculture area, and then track east through the north edge of the property. All right, so this is This is pretty soggy. Not holding water like the south side, but it's still pretty soggy. Yeah. Now we just have to truck our way through. Ferns. Ferns, 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 ferns. Ferns everywhere. Alright. This is a nice little natural trail. Look right here. Bunch of butterflies flying around. I like looking at butterflies. I can hear a truck in the distance, so we are closer to the north side. There is a bridge upstream that goes over the creek. So far, that seems to be one of the only areas where we can actually, or only sources of noise on the property. Cars driving by and they hit that transition between road and bridge, and you hear the doo-doo, doo-doo off in the distance. Oh, quite a big clearing. Not really a clearing, just no real tall growth. This must be a peninsula-ish area going towards the creek over there. Okay, I'm gonna eat my words a little bit and head a little bit further west. Gotta see how close I am to the creek. Yeah, I'm not near the creek at all. This is jungle. This is way too dense. I'm gonna pause and see if I'm still on my property though. Okay, so GPS says I'm still on the property, but the corner, or the north side, is somewhere right over there in the middle of all that brush. And those big pine trees, I do not think are on the property. So somewhere over here in that unusable area is the corner anyway. So, well, it's the creek corner. We still own quite a bit on that side of the creek. So that's that. Let's go back east. Now that I know pretty much where I'm at, I'm gonna head east and parallel the south side of that bean field. I just pulled my first tick off me. Yay. Little clearing right here. Cool, cool. Let's see. You know, part of me wanted to bring my daughter along for all this. My daughter loves being outside. She loves exploring with me because I'm kind of a big kid at heart too. So our personalities mesh really well out here. Getting excited over little things like butterflies and different things we find in the ground that are goofy shaped, or trees that are bent in certain areas. Coming up with imaginary things like, hey, doesn't that tree look like such and such or whatever? So part of me is a little bit bummed that she's not out here with me today. But on the other hand, she's 5. She doesn't have the stamina to go a quarter of, well, probably about half of what I've already done before she's ready for some carbohydrates. And then also she's sorry, I'm trying to think, speak, and walk at the same time. She's also, I don't really want to put her in a situation to where I run up on something unknown and put her in harm's way. So I'd rather do all this for the first time on my own. Just, you know, kind of a major perimeter check. Not going too deep into the middle nitty-gritty stuff. Some big trees over here. This one is still green on top, so this one fell within the past couple days. We've yeah, that's some harvestable timber if I can get back here. We've had a few storms roll through, so yeah, that's still green on top. I don't want to walk under that. That's fresh. There's a movie that I watched when I was young. Probably too young to watch it. Scared the crap out of me. And I think it's called The Village by M. Night Shyamalan or something like that. It's where these pretend bad guys, the pretend boogeyman. Oh, here's a deer run. For sure an animal run through here. Oh, there's the bean field right over there. I know where I'm at. All right, so The Village movie where these Halloween costumes and red capes. But back here looking at all this really dense tree line where it's just tree with nothing really grown up on bottom, really. They're just walking over slightly tall vegetation. Anyway, deja vu. It completely reminded me of that. Now, somewhere up here is a property line that I haven't found markings for just yet. But that's not naturally occurring in nature. So I could be venturing on to the adjacent property. I think now, at this big pine tree for reference, I think now is a good time to stop once again for a GPS marker. Oh, I think this is the trail right here. Right there. Looks like a trail. All right. There's the orange rag that was in the ground. That's the pine tree I just stopped at. And according to the GPS on my phone, right here is the property line with the bean field being over there. So I'm gonna take this trail, see where it heads. It clearly looks like old side-by-side trail right here. I don't know if it's showing up too much on camera, but clearly looks like there's a trail going through here. And I haven't ventured down here before, so I'm going to. I do know that this is another location for those briars. No trespassing. Ouch. Signs. Ouch, 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 ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. All right. Yes, clearly a path. Clearly a trail. But I don't really want to go south. Kind of want to take a left and just trek through the woods. Also kind of want to see where this comes out. Holy moly, large trees. What is this cluster of large trees right here? Okay. All right. Okay, so creek drainage from that field. From from that field. I didn't see where it really started, but we'll find out later. Yeah, this opens up quite a bit. I didn't know this trail existed. Okay. As I'm walking, I'm going to try and do some GPS screenshots here. It's just a huge row of really old growth stuff. There's a lot of timber on this property. I don't recall what I've already said, so if I'm repeating myself, then so be it. But one of our initial plans was to just clear cut and sell about 40 acres on the pine side. But oh, a lot of fresh deer tracks through here. This sun-dried top is disturbed by something walking through here recently. Cool, cool, cool. One of our initial plans was to sell about 40 acres of timber, mostly pines, but the pine market is down drastically. So we're not going to do that immediately, and we're not banking on those funds either. So when the time comes for us to sell and make a little bit of profit, at that point we will discuss it then. But even if we don't do that, there's so much timber on here that we could use for our own uses. Now this looks really overgrown. I kind of want to find out where it goes though. That's a briar patch. Let's go around. You know, I'm doing all this in shorts and boots. That's where the shoots came from. Shorts and you know, calf boots, calf height boots. And I really haven't gotten scratched up as much as I thought I would. All right, so back to the trail-ish. Let's see. Is this a trail? We spin around. Yes, that's a trail coming this way. And that trail seems to go, well, it has to go left because right is another ditch. So let's go left. You can kind of see this as being a trail. Oh, that was not a gunshot. That sounded like a big tire being inflated. Yep, this was a trail. And this tree is in the way, so it hasn't been driven down in a while. But this is cool to have another trail right next to water drainage on this little creek right here. Okie dokie. Yeah, another trail. I want to know where this comes out now. One thing that I'm particularly kind of shocked about right now is I haven't exercised in quite a while, especially since this whole, oh, I'm crouching, oh, through all this stuff, especially since this whole move became a reality. And of course, that is a lot of exercise in its own right. But one thing I was a little worried about making this video was not being able to talk because I was huffing and puffing and getting out of breath. That hasn't been the case, so yay for that. I think I know where this goes. There was one trail we tried to go down with the realtor, and we stopped when it got a little too thick. Kind of lost track of the established trail, and there was a log in the way, which I think that might be the same log I just crossed. So yeah, pretty cool. This is obviously the division line once again. Pines on the left, the larger big planted pines with natural regrowth in between. It hasn't been thinned, and all of this super large hardwoods on the opposite side. So I think I should be getting back to the original trail system momentarily. Or am I heading south? GPS time. All right, I do think that was an accurate guess about this being the realtor trail that we turned around on. So there's more internal trails through here than what I thought. Got to spend more time mapping them out, clearing them out, and getting them to a state in which motorized vehicles can transport me along. That way we can do more work faster. Okay, where did the trail go? Right here. Hardwoods again to your right, pines to the left. There's a nice little berm right there, so maybe it goes this way. Or is that berm on the other side of the natural, or the main, I should say, not natural, the main trail. Ow! Briar in my... Okay. So now I'm on drainage. I'm not on the trail anymore. All right, onward. Any indication of the old established trail? A couple apps that I'm finding useful for all this right now. I'm using Land ID, id.land. That's kind of helpful right now for GPS boundary locations. Now, of course, that's not as accurate as a land survey, but it's accurate enough for what I'm doing right now, especially considering that there really are no residences around this property. Another app that I have not utilized yet, but I will heavily, is All Trails. If you like being outside in the woods, in nature, hiking and whatnot, there's an app called All Trails that I highly recommend you check out for getting around established trails, and then also you can make your own private trails that no one has access to see. And that's what I'm going to be using soon, is the private. But I just think I just got into some really thick stuff here. Huh. I hear some sticks clanking together. I wonder if that's like a buck rubbing up against a tree. Doesn't sound natural from the wind, but and it doesn't sound threatening by any means either. Aha, this is where we turned around. Okay, I think I know where I'm at. This looks very familiar. Yes. Yes, this looks very, very familiar. Or I could just be talking through my eyes here, because oh man, it's more of the same. I just need to shut up until I get back to a trail. It's like when your kids say, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Almost. Almost. 10 minutes later, "Are we there yet?" Almost. Almost never changes. Almost is the answer every single time. And that's the way I feel right now. Am I back on the trail? Almost. Oh yeah, this looks familiar. Of course it does. You've been walking through trees all morning. I do believe I'm heading west, though. Let's see. I said west. I meant to say east. The sun is to my right. It is 11 a.m., 10 a.m. I am heading east. All right, GPS check. Patience. Patience, young Jedi. Had I waited another 50 feet, I would not have had to look at GPS, because indeed I am going where I thought I was going. That north-south trail where the mattress is, oh, there's the mattress right there. Okay. So yeah, now I 100% know my way through here. We made a big loop along the entire west side of the property is what we just did. Oh, gross. Gross, springy mattress, gross. Yep, that's not a naturally occurring site in the woods. No mattress trees that I know of. Now we are back on the north-south trail, headed south with the bean field behind me. Know exactly where we are. I'm going to walk back to the truck. I am going to get the chainsaw out. I'm going to start making progress for the first time on this property. I hope you enjoyed this little walk with me through the woods. Selfishly, I'm not making this video for anyone out there, so I know quite well that this isn't going to be a captivating video that a lot of people will watch, but it's a very, very important video for me, a very necessary video for me to document this journey and really document the beginnings of this property. I want to be able to look back in 5 years, 10 years, however many years, and see this property as it was, so that I can identify and be proud of everything that I've done. And I say that on day one, hoping and knowing that if we work hard enough, we're going to accomplish a lot on this property. And the only thing standing in our way is time and sweat. Two things that I have a lot of. So if you've watched this whole video, thank you. I very much appreciate it. But it's really being made for me and for my family. All right. Got a good walk in. It's time to start some work here soon. Seems like the wind has drastically cut down. It's actually very peaceful and quiet right now. Back to the burn barrel as we make this last turn to the front gate. Oh, also on the southeast corner, we haven't explored any of that yet. That's gonna be fun, but not for right now. I've got enough footage for the major things for this video. and I've got to get to work.